Hello and welcome back. Today we're reviewing the Everton Nottingham Forest fixture, which resulted in a 2-0 win, a very welcomed win at that as well. Of course, after a 6-0 defeat at the hands of Chelsea, we needed a response, and I mean, it couldn't have come at any of a better time, given it was against a relegation battler who is neighbouring us on the table. So, now we've got that little bit of separation, a 5-point gap between us and 18th. But yeah, I mean, some big goals at some big stages. Of course, obviously a few other injuries or minor setbacks, but we move, obviously, the 3 points. So let's talk about the game a little bit. So look, I mean, we were honestly snipers from outside the box. I don't know what got into this team, but it seems like, well, a couple of our players had their kicking boots on today. Not quite their passing boots, but their shooting boots. And Idrissa, Gana, Gueye, and Dwight, McNeil, I mean, the precision to, be able to score those goals. Angling away from the keeper was the Gana Gueye goal. I mean, it was pretty tough to defend if you were a keeper. Even if you have a severe amount of length, you were never really getting to it. And then the second goal by McNeil was a little bit straighter. It didn't really have too much angle about it, but, it was basically in line with the upright, and the keeper didn't really stand a chance there either. I mean, it could have ricocheted out, but it decided, luck was on our side today. And I think that could be said in more ways than just the way in which the goals were scored. There were a couple of penalty shouts that definitely probably should have gone the other way. It must be our day in terms of the officials manning the VAR room, because I tell you what, I mean, on field, the referee was an absolute shocker for both sides, but I do feel as if we didn't get the run of the grain there. The VAR calls are a completely different thing. I mean, Anthony Taylor, the referee today, he probably should be picking those up in real time, but, they went to review all those decisions and not one of them got overturned. So a bit of a travesty on the VAR front, to be honest. I mean, I'm taking it every single day of the week, but from a Nottingham standpoint, you'd be absolutely livid with the decisions. We're talking the Ashley Young handball. We're talking the Ashley Young challenge from a through ball. And then there was another one, which I can't remember, but all of which probably were nearly stonewall. There was probably, we talk about 50-50 calls. I reckon this was about 80-20, 85-15. It really probably should have been a couple of penalties to Forest. That could really come back to bite them. But, we were good enough to take our opportunities today. I mean, we talk so much about, key moments and, players needing to step up, and they need to exude that class and quality that we've been lacking all season long. Today, these guys really showed up in the big moments, or should I say only two players did, but, there were some other very, very big efforts. Mykolenko, there was a through ball by a Nottingham Forest player which sent Hudson-Odoi through, and Mykolenko absolutely sprinted back like his life depended on it, and they really had their, counter-attack or fast break opportunity well held up, and they didn't get a shot off. There was also the Pickford save with his face. I mean, it doesn't really matter how you do it, but he put his body on the line, and, obviously clean sheet at the end of it all, so it makes it all worth it. And then, of course, you've got players like Branthwaite, who was very, very sore after a challenge, of course. And then you have the Beto incident, which obviously prayers up. Hope he's all good, but it didn't look too good. The concussion protocols, I imagine, would be very much in play. They had to put on the breathing mask and that sort of thing, and pump some oxygen into him, which, I mean, he probably was out for a couple of minutes, maybe, because he looked like he was laying there motionless. So it must have been a very firm hit, but I guess that really speaks volumes about the way he goes about it. Like, he doesn't really have too much regard for safety. He's very physical. I think the substitution, as much as Beto didn't get the start today, it was probably a little bit unfortunate that we played Chelsea in the previous game and got demolished 6-0, because then you couldn't really justify Beto starting in the 11 today, but, you know, you felt he was a perfect matchup for the centre halves that Nottingham Forest possessed because, you know, DCL was getting worked down pretty nicely by the Forest defenders, but Beto brought something a little bit different and really held those guys accountable. He won a couple of free kicks for the team. You know, his hold-up play was very, very good. And look, I don't think there's too much more you could ask for from a Beto standpoint, performance-wise today. I don't think we're going to be seeing him next week. Definitely not for Liverpool, but down the line in a week's time, I'm not sure if we'll see him in action, so that obviously places a bit more of a burden on DCL and the young Chamiti, but that's pride personified. Like, if you're willing to put your body on the line for the shirt, that's an Evertonian right there. So credit to him. But yeah, it's really unfortunate that we're not going to see him play on the pitch in the next week or so, you know, bringing those high energy, high impact, low volume minutes. I tell you what, the passing into the box was absolutely dreadful today. I mean, we're not going to sugarcoat it, even though we won 2-0. Dwight McNeil passing, I don't know what the bloody hell was going on with him. Gueye was very good defensively in terms of tracking back and covering for some of his other players who may have been caught out of position at times, especially earlier on in the game. But, you know, attacking wise at times, his passing play was awful. Andre Gomez couldn't beat the first man half the time from set pieces. You know, a lot of things were going wrong in that sort of element of the game. But luckily for us, Nottingham seemed to be even more disconnected. I mean, they couldn't even chain passes together earlier on in the game. You know, in the middle third, we were at least getting it to the attacking third. They were turning it over in that middle area, that middle portion of the pitch that, you know, we were able to slingshot it back the other way. And I'll tell you what, I mean, it's a shame that we're not a good passing team, because I tell you what, good passing teams would absolutely carve Nottingham to shreds based on what they dished up at times today. I mean, half the time they were passing to the space where a Nottingham player was 5 seconds prior. You know, they had already made their run 5 seconds ago. Yeah, they looked very much off it. I was consistently commenting how bad they were in the first half to myself. And you know what? It never really showed. They had a couple of half chances here and there, but aside from the penalties, never really got close. So, you know, I think it's testament to this team for really being able to regroup after the 6-goal defeat. Can't believe I'm still saying that. 6-goal defeat against Chelsea. You know, it would be very easy to lie down and you know, make some mistakes. The nerves were there early. Pickford had a couple of moments where the ball was jarred loose, or you know, there wasn't too much conviction about his passing play, distributing it from the defensive third inside his own box. But you know what? I think we consolidated as the game wore on. And contrary to what's happened in the past, I do think that we didn't go on the back foot as much as we usually do. Yes, we did invite Nottingham to play and be able to advance it forward. But at the same time, I think we defensively were that cohesive that, you know, we were able to, you know, advance it the other way ourselves and you know, take that pressure off a little bit more so than what we usually do. I think we ended the game with 40% possession. It wasn't too much higher before the, you know, the final 20 or so minutes. So I think that sort of speaks volumes about us, you know, getting a little bit better in that regard. And I think that opportunity is going to present itself in the run home with these weaker opponents we're playing. So we've got to make sure we're capitalizing on those opponents we play and the moments they will present. Because, I mean, we didn't do a great job of that, and DCL wasn't getting much service, but when we needed a player to step up, or two, you know, we finally got something out of him. So, look, in the points deduction derby, we got the victory, and a very important victory at that, of course, as I said at the start of the video. I'm sitting a little bit better now. I think I'm going to rest a little bit more easy tonight. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy, you know, the joy and jubilation that this win comes attached with, because, you know, I don't know how many more wins we're going to get. I don't know how many more times we're going to score 2 goals the way we did. We barely do this. You know, Idrissa Gana is used to absolutely skying it you know, like 20 meters above the bar. So I'm going to take these wins, you know, in whatever way we can get him. Man of the match, I don't really know. There wasn't really a standout for me today, but Mikalenko's been a very, you know, highly thrown around name today. So I think I'm going to give it to him because he was rock solid. There weren't too many, you know, iffy moments by him. For the love of God, Sean Dyche, please drop Ashley Young for the next game. If he does not learn from the previous time we played Liverpool, it is an absolute no-brainer. This guy, again, 3 penalty shouts, all off the back of Ashley Young. And what happened against Liverpool the last time we played him? He got a yellow within like 10-15 minutes and was gone within 30. So, you know, if that's not an indicator of you needing to make a change at right back, then I don't know what's going to be the tipping point. But until the next time, when hopefully we're talking about a win against the mob that we hate so fiercely, we'll see you soon. Have a good one. Bye for now.